Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Paulie here. Just want to say hi, ask you how you're doing. We're here to check out the Iranian Hulk, right? We want to see if he is a Photoshop or if we could prove it. Okay. Images, they just seem strange, right? Okay. Let's zoom in on all of them. See what we got here. Okay, let's take a look at some image I made the other day of Francis the Predator Ngannou. Okay, and the Cameroonian Hulk. He's not from Nigeria. That's wrong. So he looks strange, right? Does he look anything like the Iranian Hulk? No, not really. But you're getting the point, and I'll talk more about it. I think it's the liquify tool. Okay, so I'll show you the guys that. I think a lot of you guys already know what the liquify tool is here. Filter down to liquify, right? And then it pops up in this separate screen, right? So it looks a little different. But, you know, real quickly, if you use the liquify tool, it's kind of like the how do I make my butt bigger tool, right? You see that the problem becomes that the background starts morphing with it. So let me go back a few steps. So when you start to have that problem, you got to put the size down. And that's way too small. So that's way too big. Whoa. So let's see where it was in between, like here. And then you can kind of start pulling it out a little more without the background really. So see here where you got a straight line, you want to pull it straight out there so you don't mess up the straight line. But, you know, I don't like to accuse anybody of anything because that's not the right thing to do. But I've seen a lot of people saying that this guy's a Photoshop, and I'm like, well, I already knew that years ago. But, you know, of course, well, it takes time for the truth to come out, right? But I think it came out. I think people started to realize, ooh, shoot, that's not good. That this guy is a Photoshop. Okay. So we're making him bigger. You know, it's easy thing to do. You just go to filter and then liquify. So, you know, let's make those shoulders big. You can't really, you know, believe what you're looking at online. You know, it could be anything. But the Iranian Hulk, I give him credit. I think he's a genius because he self-made himself, and nobody thought of doing this. And he does have a different body, I would say. Now look at this line. This line doesn't look right here. Why is there a line here and then there's no line down here? But, you know, you can't say that's the reason. But, okay, so we made him bigger. We're going to press OK. And you see, he just got a little buffer. So I think even the Iranian Hulk would like that, right? So there he is. Okay. And he has this nice, what is this? A hatchet or axe in his hand. But you don't see anything coming out the back. Let's zoom in here. His finger looks a little dark. And again, I see a line here. It looks a little odd. A line here. Well, there's a line there too, so. But, like, the shadow is pretty good. But where's the shadow for the hatchet? Is there a shadow for the hatchet? I don't know. Shadow looks a little weird too, but at least he has one. Let's use the liquify tool here. Let's make him a buffer. You know, let's make this one ridiculous because we already got the point, you know. So now let's make him a little buffer. Now notice another thing, he keeps his arms always spread apart here. And I'll go into that later. Ngannou doesn't do that. Ngannou keeps his arms kind of closer to his side. So let's make this guy into more of a Hulk than he already is. See, that doesn't look right. When you bend this up, this thing starts to get bigger right here. This band on his arm. You gotta be careful, these arm bands. And you see the background is one solid color, so it doesn't morph. So either these were taken on a green screen, or he just knew exactly how to perfect angle. Okay. So let's see. Let's make him bigger, dude. He's a Hulk, right? Yeah. Let's make this side bigger. Now, another thing I want to get into is how come his nipple is so spread apart, and how come there's so much space here. And this is not a good example, this one, but this nipple, it starts to come back. Watch. Yeah, there we go. All right. You see how it kind of looks like it was spread here? And then the nipples are so far to the side. Do you ever see anyone with nipples this far to the side? One of them I seen was hanging out like over here. You know, I had re-photoshopped it. I put the nipple back in a normal place. So, you know, that doesn't look right, does it? I don't know what you think about that. But we can simply, you know, take his nipple and put it here. It's too big. Let's redo that. Take a look at Francis Ngannou and see how he holds his arms a lot tighter. And also the background isn't just one solid gradient or just one solid color. Maybe up here it is, but there's a few different colors here. It's not just one. Or maybe here it is, but then again you have these lines here, and it's just a much tougher background. And if you look at the Iranian Hulk, like his backgrounds are clear. So maybe the Iranian Hulk was on a green screen, and then he superimposed himself over these backgrounds and did the shadow, and then used the liquify tool. Or maybe he's just the Iranian Hulk. So it's one of those two things. But, you know, if you look at Ngannou here, and I don't know why I'm comparing him to Ngannou. I just think that, you know, Ngannou is massive, and I don't know. But if you go to filter and you go to liquify, and we can make you see how the background becomes a problem here? If you made him a little bigger, right? Look a little bigger. Keep on making him bigger. See, this line doesn't look right. You see, it just wins. But I mean, the whole thing doesn't look right. But that's why it's clever what he did. See, it was a clever process. So I give him credit, you know. And anyone who says he's a joke, or I mean, it might be true, he might be a joke, but he was a big joke, you know. People knew about that joke, so I can give him credit for that. People thought I was a Hulk. That'd be pretty cool. So check this out. He's getting bigger. He's always getting bigger. So let's check him out now. See what he looks like. Yeah. Alright. Kind of looks a little choppy over there. But I mean, should we fix it? I don't think we can. Just, it's a joke, you know? But shows you that if the Iranian Hulk was fabricated, it was definitely clever. You know, you can't do this to any photo or just make it look like a Hulk. It's not that easy. You know, he must have been big to begin with, because you can see there's only so much that you can really fatten it up. Like, he must have been, you know, pretty big to begin with. Whether he was fat or had some muscle on him, something. He had something to work with. He wasn't like the skinniest guy on the planet. You know. But who knows what he did? He's definitely an excellent photoshopper. You can see that here. Okay, so you know, that's Francis Ngannou, right? That one's a buff one. Did we buff him up yet? No, I don't think we did. Did we buff this one up? I think we did a little bit. So let's take this one, put it next to Ngannou. Wait, let's oh, here we go. So that's one Nagano I got. So this this one looks horrible. This one looks pretty damn awesome. So is he a Photoshop? Another thing is with this Nagano, when I was doing it, I did mess with the breasts. And look how the nipples turned out. So I did this one. Okay, so and you can see, like, if you do the liquify tool. No, not here. So you can only do it per layer. If you do the liquify tool, you can kind of like sculpt his boobs out a little more. Just kind of like sculpt them out. So somewhere along the way, I made his boob come far up. See now it's all the way up there. If you move it down, now his boob's over there. So the further you move it, you see how all this looks messed up there? And also, if you look at his skin color, there's different colors here. There's like a lighter here. So it's not as easy to work with as the Iranian Hulk. The Iranian Hulk had good gradients, nice backgrounds, and you got a lot to work with too. Got to be pretty big of a guy. But see how the nipples, if you keep on spreading this, making these boobies bigger, the nipples kind of like just go further and further aside. See, his nipples kind of look odd. That's why I did it like that. Why are his nipples far apart? So let's see. If we go to liquify tool, and we go to his nipples, do they wind up coming out further apart as we see? Look, that got blurry right there. So he really knows this liquify tool really well, better than I do. Let's see. So this nipple, let's put it further. See, they can be even bigger. Oh, see, that wave doesn't look good back there, so I'm gonna negate that. I'm gonna go back with a smaller one, but we're gonna make this Hulk even bigger, because this Hulk, it's not looking right. Let's make it big and make low pressure. No, it's too big. We don't want to pressure it too much. We just want to make it bigger. Also note the shadowing underneath his arms looks a little weird for being out in the sun. Why is it so dark right there? And you notice this shadow right here goes backwards and it just kind of stops. Doesn't protrude into here. And there's just some weird shadow here. The shadowing on this one doesn't make much sense. But, make them a little fatter. It is possible. Could you make them skinnier? Yeah, you can make them skinnier. So you can kind of then flatten that out. Or we could just make them fatter. Let that gut hang down past that belt. Could we make his legs bigger without the background really changing much? Look, looks pretty easy to do that. We can make those legs beefier. So these backgrounds are cool that were chosen. Let's do it in the shadow. Is it easy to make it bigger in the shadow? Yeah, doesn't really lose anything. Just looks great. Look, getting buffed out even more. Over here, a little bit more suspicious, but still looks good. And those waves too, you could just make them bigger. They don't really care if you push them because a wave, I mean, think about it. You can't really say where a wave's going to be. So now he's even beefier than ever. His legs are beefy, his arms. Look, I just totally messed up. It looks great. In that shadow, it's nice and dark. It looks great. There must have been some mess up in here. That's why I put the shadow right there, I think. Could we make his head bigger? Probably not that easy. Awesome. And there's a shadow on his beard. Awesome. How does my Hulk compare with the Iranian Hulk? The Cameroonian Hulk, excuse me. How does the Cameroonian Hulk compare? He looks horrible. He doesn't look anything like the original. Wrong color. I should have used green, but whatever. It says it, right? Can we change the color? Alright, so he's bigger. Should we make him fatter? Let's make him fatter. Does the skin just move over his pants or no? No. Maybe. Yeah. He has a skin that, for some reason, when you stretch it, it doesn't look that bad. So maybe he was once a big guy that gained some weight, then got flabby, but was at one point bigger. So if you make him look bigger, it doesn't look that weird. Just a shot in the dark. But maybe he was a bigger guy at one point. You know? His hands don't look that big. But that doesn't matter. And these feet, they look a little ridiculous. And the way he's standing here, it doesn't look right. This doesn't make any sense. This is like plotted down. This is not right. Nobody looks like this. But anyway. Is he a Photoshop? I personally always knew he was. Well, that's it. Hope you liked the video, and if you learned anything or not, whatever, I hope you had a good time. But yeah, let me know what you know about the Iranian Hulk, and if you think he's a Photoshop, or if you have anything else to say about the Iranian Hulk, just let me know in the comments. But yeah, there's definitely some weird boobs.